Remember, just write the answer to this problem on the bottom of your paper somewhere, okay? Just a minute. So starting on lesson 5, the beginning of our lesson will be the application problem. We're not doing the review activities anymore because you'll do those on Zern. It's going to save time in class. So Jordan measures a desk at 200 centimeters. I think I should highlight, I just feel like it has something to do with measurement. I guess Tucker didn't hear me. I said I didn't want to waste a whole piece of paper just for this problem, so you're just going to have to read it up here.
Oh.
Okay? And maybe you were still at the sorter when I said that. Okay, James measures the same desk in millimeters, and Amy measures the same desk in meters. What is the measurement? What is James' measurement in millimeters? What is Amy's measurement in meters? Show your thinking using a place value chart or an equation with exponents. Looks like I forgot my period. So my question is, let's put James here and Amy here. And do you want to draw a place value chart, or would you rather make an equation with exponents? I agree. So here's what we've got to figure out. We've got 3 measurements here. So we're going to have to do 2 operations. So the first operation, write this down, boys and girls, is centimeters to millimeters. Blair, I didn't see you write it. Now, we didn't have this one the other day. We had centimeters to meters. So we're going to have to do a little bit of application here. What do you think I'm going to do when I go from centimeters to millimeters? Multiply or divide? Multiply. How many place values am I moving on the place value chart?
100.
How many? 1, 2, 3. Aren't centimeters and millimeters right next to each other?
So 10.
10. So we're just going to multiply by 10. Now it says an exponent. What exponent goes on the number 10?
10 to the first power.
10 to the first power. Write that down. Now all we have to do is make an equation. So what number did we start with, Blair? Have you written any of this? I'm recording. What number do I start with? Hannah. 200 centimeters times an equation with an exponent. 10 to the first power equals, Channing, what's 200 times 10?
2000.
And what's my label?
Millimeters.
Millimeters, awesome. This reminds me of that chart from 2 days ago, where we had a 2, a 200, and a 2000.
Yeah, I was like half asleep.
Well, you don't want to miss something.
I know, like my brain just wouldn't.
So now we've got another measurement conversion. We're going from what to what now?
Meters to
You're close.
millimeters to
Millimeters to meters. So write this down. Millimeters to meters. And you know this one. What is it? Divide by 10 to the third power. So my equation starts with what number? Lainey? 200. No, wait a minute.
It's 2000 when you start before dividing the numbers.
2,000 millimeters.
You could have just added a
I could have. Divided by 10 to the third power. What trick are you going to use here?
Yes, you wrote
The zero trick. How many zeros can I cross off?
3.
3. So my answer is 2 meters. Now, does that make sense?
Yes.
The desk is 2 meters, 200 centimeters, or 2,000 millimeters.
Yeah, that makes
It makes perfect sense. Okay, let's take a look at the problems for today. So the very first problem, it goes back to 4th grade and 3rd grade, okay? And it's just to get your mind ready to start doing the 5th grade version of number forms. So I really need you to pay attention. And Blair, I'm not going to say it again. Do you need to get a clipboard and just sit on the floor so you can focus? Okay, because that's an option. So let's write 3,047 in standard form. Everybody tell me.
I was just wanting to say
3,047. Tell me what to write.
3,
3,047, correct?
that's good.
Okay, and if I put 3,047 on a place value chart, using place value discs, which you're welcome for not making you write this, but I need you to focus. How many in the thousands place? 3. How many in the tens?
4,
How many in the ones?
7,
Okay, now I want you to visualize that when we do expanded form, because this is 3 copies of 1,000, 4 copies of 10, and 7 copies of 1. I'm going back a couple pages, okay? So 3 copies of 1,000 looks like this. Now this is a little different than the past. In the past, you would have written 3,000 plus 40 plus 7, correct? This is a little different. We're adding a multiplication problem in. So the second one, how many copies of 10 do I have? 4. So what would I write?
4 times 10.
4 times 10.
Or 4 to the first power.
Plus,
No, 4 to the second.
No.
that's 10 to the first power. 4 times 10. A 10 is 10 to the first. Now, what would I write for the 7 ones?
7 times 1.
And I really like to separate with the parentheses so that my numbers don't get all jumbled up together, okay? Now, uniform is just how we say it. How do I say this number?
3,047.
Okay, so I'm going to mix words and numbers and try and get this figured out. So I will have 3,000. And then I'm going to go ahead and do 4 tens and 7 ones. This is going to get much easier here in a minute, because we're going to take unit form and make it a little bit easier and shorter. Okay? All right. So I'm going to take what I learned, or what you learned in 3rd and 4th grade, and change it just a little bit for 5th grade, and then kick it up a notch and add decimals. Sound good? Okay. So that's the next one. So let's take a look at the next one. 1,000. How do I just write the number? Tell me. 1,000. This has a TH on it.
0
and 1.
Okay, good. So how do you say this number?
0.
No, how do you say it?
1,000.
1,000. How do you write it? 0.001. Okay? All right, I'm going to my place value chart. And I'm going to get rid of this. And how would I show 1,000th on a place value chart using place value discs?
Put a 1
Put 1 dot in the thousandths place. That's it. Okay? Going back to my problem. So if I use that, how many copies of 1,000th did I have?
1.
1. So I'm going to go 1 times, are you ready for this? 1,000. Clever, huh? Go ahead and write it down. 1 times 1,000.
Oh, I thought we were literally going down. Only have to write the fraction.
Okay, now the fraction is 1,000, okay?
Yeah, I thought that's.
On the decimal, see how this says fraction and this says decimal? I'm just changing this fraction to a decimal. So how do I write 1,000th as a decimal? 0.001. And how many copies of it do I still have? 1. So that's expanded form for decimals. And it's going to get more fun when we go down and it gets more complicated. Now unit form, ready? 1,000. Make sure you put the TH on.
What's the abbreviation for thousand?
Well, let's write it out today, okay? I won't make you write it out forever, but for today I'd like for you to. Okay, now we're going to keep getting a little harder. So let's go down and look at the next one. It says 3,000ths. So how do I write 3,000ths? 0.003. That's 3,000ths. Are you already a step ahead of me? So what would I draw on the place value chart? 3 place value discs in the thousandths place. How many copies?
3.
When I say copies of, that means to multiply, doesn't it? So I'm going to do 3 times, and I'm going to do the fraction, 1,000.
Yeah, I almost put 3 times 3,000.
Right. And that would be 9,000ths.
Yeah.
Okay, so expanded form decimals, what's the only thing we're going to change? The fraction to a decimal. 0.001. And the 3 goes out in front because it's 3 copies of. Uniform, what do you think?
3,000.
3,000ths. This time you need a THS. Hey, how you doing? Okay, you got a question or are you okay?
I was just gonna ask you, but how
Oh, this was the abbreviation that I taught you. And then I left off a few words or few letters to make it easier, okay? But for today, go ahead and write it out.
Okay.
Okay, so going down, one more problem. This is 13,000ths. So how would I write? Now the 3 is in what place value? The thousandths. So let's work backwards on this. And the 1 is in the hundredths. What goes in the tenths?
0.
So that's how you write 13,000ths in standard form. Okay? Now let's talk about expanded form fractions. I have 2 minutes, so we're going to do a little bit more. Okay? Ureli, can you close the door for me, please? So I'm going over to the place value chart. I had a 3 in the thousandths place, a 1 in the hundredths place, and nothing in the tenths, right? Expanded form. How many copies of 100? 1 copies of 100. 1 copy of. Now remember, I like those parentheses so they separate the numbers. That way they're not so jumbled up. And then I'm going to do how many copies of 1,000?
3.
3.
And what would 1 million look like?
Well, not right now because I'm recording, okay? Now, let's take a look at expanded form decimals. What's the only thing that changes? The fractions, right?
Yeah.
So, how do I write 100th as a decimal? 0.01. And everything else in that set of parentheses stays the same. And how do I write 1,000th as a decimal? 0.001. And everything else stays the same. Unit form. Somebody take a guess. Remember, we're making it easy.
13,000.
You're right. So 13 and then thousands. Okay, very good.